Merry Christmas to you, and thanks for tuning in to JoyNews, your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. This is JoyNews today, and I'm Noella Karen Yali. Ahead of this Christmas Day bulletin, Christians across the globe, including Ghanaians, are marking Christmas today with church services, concerts, and various community activities. We'll give you a feel of how the day has been so far. Meanwhile, hundreds of travelers remain stranded at several bus terminals in Accra due to a shortage of vehicles as they attempt to reunite with your families for Christmas celebrations. We have live updates for you. And today on Fact Check, we verify foreign reserve claims made by CEO of GoldBod, Sammy Gyamfi, in his response to media reports that dragged his institution into the $214 million loss recorded under the Bank of Ghana's Gold for Reserve program. We have world news, business, sports, and entertainment right in this hour. Details when we return. Welcome back. Let's begin with our top story. And across the country today, Christmas is being marked with church services, concerts, and various community activities. Now, several churches organized special programs while musicians staged concerts to usher the festive season. One such event was Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh, organized by the International Central Gospel Church, ICGC, aimed at raising support for children at the cancer unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. We'll bring you that story in a bit, but founder of ICG, Pastor Mensa Otabil, urged citizens to complement government efforts, stressing that national development is a shared responsibility.
And, you know, one of the challenges we have in this country is we expect government to do everything. We think everything is government. But government is the people. Government is the citizens. It's when citizens stand up and say, we are responsible and we want to do something about what goes on in our country. And we don't want to wait for government to solve our problems. If we see a problem, we do the best to fix it as citizens of this country. And this is part of the responsibility, not only of us as Christians, but also as citizens. So, if you gave and your heart is touched to give more, you have the opportunity. And some of you can bring in big money. Give us 100,000, give us 200,000. We'll pass it on to them, and we will make sure that everything you give for Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh goes directly to the Children's Cancer Unit. The church does not take one peso.
Meanwhile, the presiding Archbishop of the Action Chapel International, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, is urging Christians to show gratitude this Christmas. Now, speaking during a Christmas Day service, he expressed concern over the lack of appreciation from some individuals he has helped over the years. Now, also speaking at a Christmas Day service at the Victory Bible Service, the former moderator of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate, called for peace and unity, urging Ghanaians to stop agitations over rules in mission schools. We'll hear from the man of God pretty shortly, but let's listen to our previous story.
Everybody say with me, ingratitude towards man is ingratitude towards God. The Bible said in the book of Luke that Jesus waxed strong. Increase, Luke 2:52. He had favor. He increased in favor with God and with man. Say with God and with man.
With God and with man.
So God does not work in a vacuum. Whenever God wants to bless you, he will always use man to bless you. About 4 this morning, I was talking to some of the intercessors, and I was telling them that one of my greatest sadness in life is people I have helped. I'm telling you. Church people, people in politics, people in business, name it. I was telling them, I said, one of my greatest regrets in life has to do with people I open doors for, help them, and have become huge and big today that they never remember that once upon a time God used me to make it possible for them to be where they are. They don't want to publicly acknowledge it. Some of them secretly they will, but they don't want anybody to know. And if I dare say that, oh, this guy once upon a time I help him or I give him a car, they will curse me. Why are you telling people? Why are you boasting? So I don't say anything. I keep it quiet to myself because I don't want anybody to curse me. Ingratitude towards man is ingratitude towards God. Number 3, my last point. Say gratitude. I can't hear you. Say gratitude. Not express is ingratitude. Lastly, don't procrastinate. Whatever you must do to show gratitude and to make a statement of gratitude, don't defer. Don't defer. Because obedience that is deferred or delayed is disobedience. So whatever it is that you must do and correct, do it immediately. As Bishop was preaching, I called that man. I said, Dad, there are so many people who have brought me Christmas gifts and things. Some of them I don't know who they are. Please find out. Everybody, I want to know who they are. Find out. I cannot take it for granted. Find out. I have to say thank you. Even if I can't call, I must send a card. Say thank you to everybody. Gratitude that you don't express, either to God or man, is ingratitude. And don't say, I will wait tomorrow. Do it now. Because the investments you make today is your blessing for tomorrow.
So you heard that the Archbishop of the Action Chapel, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, speaking about the importance of gratitude. We can now hear from the former moderator of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Reverend Professor Emmanuel Marty.
Minister, you are sorry for there are some about reconciliation. Hamucho, Niawono, Nidi Yasum Prince of Peace. Engine Power Chow, we fear when Omano Maya Kenya and fact check what is. One thing is a one fancha, who bread do. One can say, who mental problem, who bread. In the fact, the fact is how they are changed. I say, when you need to be fine all the time. But fact, no move on in your life. Because who cry, why you upon your chance as well, their chow, and move on in your life. And I pray, say, communities will live in peace. And I pray, say, and for different religions will live in peace. Obia mama country and say, Moses rules our presec, and now Wesley girls, Munya is an interest us in people. Countries should live in peace. I pray, say, this Christmas, something will happen between Ukraine and Russia. In several other African countries. I tell you, I train on my time. Not in Tokwa, and you war by, and a year day, and a year day.
So to summarize what Professor Marty spoke about, well, he's talking about unity amongst nations or countries across the world and also the importance of forgiveness, especially in this season. Away from that, hundreds of commuters remained stranded at various bus terminals, I beg your pardon, in Accra due to a shortage of vehicles to convey them to their hometowns and various destinations as Ghana joined the rest of the world to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. Now, checks by JoyNews in the capital revealed empty streets with a heavy congestion that prior to Christmas Day noticeably was absent. However, the situation at major bus terminals tells a different story, as many travelers wait endlessly for unavailable vehicles. My colleague Fatal Bayaga has been monitoring the situation in the capital and now reports.
What can I say? Like, I don't know what to do. So we are just waiting, so when it comes, we can travel. So it has made the Christmas some way, like, we don't know what to do, so I can't talk much.
But why didn't you travel the day before, or maybe earlier?
Oh, we came for a program, and we finished today, so we have to move today, that's why.
Because it's been a while I travel, so it's a question day. I want to travel to Kumasi and greet my parents so that we will celebrate the Christmas together with my siblings.
They say it's Christmas, and it's also Christmas, as you know. But they have to travel here and there to Nkoko, Kumasi, and other places. But yesterday there were many people here, but today I don't see it like that. But the cars are also scarce here, so it's very difficult to get a car to Kumasi as at now.
The work was there, we were able to do our part, but the traffic was something that is unbearable, because if there is too much traffic, how to pick someone and go there, you come back and pick another passenger, it's our problem, but we are able to do something better.
Now, we'll be updating ourselves on the current situation at the bus terminals pretty shortly. But before that, amid growing security threats and religious instability across parts of West Africa, Minister in charge of the Emmanuel Methodist Society at Lashibi in the Tema West Circuit, Reverend Alfred Fraiku, has urged Ghanaians to jealously guard the peace the country enjoys. Now, he says Christmas season symbolizes peace, and warned that national stability must never be taken for granted. Reverend Fraiku made the call at a 9 lessons and carol service held at Kedland International School in Tema. Here's more.
The 9 lessons and carol service at Kedland International School at Community 19 in Tema showcased the talent of pupils through dance and perform Christmas songs on the keyboard. Aside Bible reading, the 9 lessons drawn from the Old and New Testament traced God's promise of a Savior and its fulfillment in Bethlehem, with readings recalling the angel's message to Mary, the birth of Christ in a manger, and the announcement to the shepherds. Through scripture and song, the service reaffirmed the birth of Christ as the foundation of the Christmas message. Minister in charge of the Emmanuel Methodist Society at Lashibi in the Tema West Circuit, Reverend Alfred Fraiku, says the season should remind Ghanaians to jealously guard the peace the country enjoys amid rising religious intolerance, ethnic conflict, and terrorism across West Africa.
We find various religions in the country. Again, there's this tribal segmentation amongst us with different understanding and different cultural practices. It is wonderful for us to have lived all these years up to this point with the various religious inclinations and dispositions. It can only be good for us to be in one piece up until now. Also, we must necessarily keep this peace. Of course, this peace cannot just be a wishful thinking. We must necessarily continue to act on it and live it, and consider the fact that every single individual, whether you are in the same religion with him or you are in the same tribe with him or not, it's a creation from God, and so you must respect that person and live peaceably with that person.
Reverend Alfred Fraiku urged Christians to exhibit Christ-like character in their daily lives.
We are extension of the manifestation of Christ Jesus Christ in the life. So as Christians, as Ghanaians, if we believe in the story of Christmas, that God loved us so much that He gave us Christ, then this Christ who we are interpreting as being birthed in our heart, we must necessarily exhibit it. It must be evident in our lives. So Matthew chapter 5 verse 16 will tell us, let your light so shine that men may see your good works. So we must live peaceably with our neighbors.
Meanwhile, Administrator of Kirtland International School, Esther Ashon Katai, expressed gratitude to God for an accident-free year caring for the pupils.
The year has been good. God has been faithful. I mean, we started the year with maybe not less than 30, but as we are coming to the end of the year, we are close to 50. And that is something to be happy about. And we are truly grateful to God. And throughout the term too, it has been smooth. We haven't had any casualties and our children are doing well.
From the Kirtland International School in Tema, let's do our previous story and cross over to Fatal to get the latest on the situation at the bus terminals with stranded passengers. Fatal, what can you report now?
Noella, it's quite a very tense afternoon for many passengers who are seeking to travel to various destinations across the country, particularly the Ashanti region. I spoke to a few passengers here at the STC station. These passengers were agitated. They say that they came here around 5 a.m. and they are still here because there are not vehicles for them to go to the Ashanti region to celebrate the Christmas with their family members. And this appeared to be widespread because I checked at a station, Golden Station, where there were a few passengers there to complaining of similar situation. Here at the STC station, the management has been explaining that because of the huge numbers that are trooping in here, it's been quite difficult for them to clear them. And because many of their vehicles from yesterday till now have been traveling to Kumasi, and all of them, all those buses are currently in the Ashanti region. So they are waiting for these buses to come back or return to the Greater Accra region to clear these passengers. So it's been quite a very difficult situation for many of these passengers. And well, I must add that the Christmas celebration is quite conspicuous here in Accra because I checked the streets of the city and they are virtually empty as compared to what I witnessed yesterday and the days before. Today, it's been quite smooth for vehicles and human beings to, move freely within the city.
Like you rightly said, you've been engaging some of the station heads there. Do they have an idea what times these buses will be returning from Kumasi and other places in the country?
So for the STC management, they say that some of their vehicles, and I've just seen 2 vehicles coming around, they say some of their vehicles will be coming from the Ashanti region. And if these buses do return, then that would help them in clearing the numbers here. And they say that today, because it's a holiday and in fact it's a Christmas day, they are going to close at 3 p.m. So that is even bringing so much pressure, right? Because people are then rushing against time to be able to get to board the STC buses before this time reaches. So that's the situation and probably the reason why many of these individuals were agitated, just for them to travel to the Ashanti region to celebrate their family members.
Right, Fatal, thank you so much for that update. You're still watching Joy News today right here on Joy News. I'm Noella Karen Yali. We'll take a quick break here. We're back with more. Welcome back to Joy News today. Now, this afternoon, former president of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, Reverend Professor Paul Frimpong Manso, is calling for decisive action in the manufacturing and development aspect of Ghana's lithium deal. Now, his comment comes amid the stalled ratification of the Ewoya lithium mining agreement as residents of the affected community continue to raise concerns about its potential negative environmental and social impact. Speaking in an exclusive interview with our colleague Samuel Kujubrace, Reverend Professor Frimpong Manso urged the Mahama-led administration to move beyond the export of raw mineral resources. Now, he says the country must look to provide a value addition through local refining, while also equipping the youth with the requisite skill to participate meaningfully in the minerals and manufacturing sector.
What are the others doing with the lithium?
No, in terms of the agri,
we should tell the world that this is what God has given us. Come and mine it here. Come and establish the company here. We will not export any raw lithium to Australia, Britain, or anywhere. Whatever you want to use the lithium to do, come and do it at Mankasim, Sopon, and that area, so that the people there will get a benefit. We've taken gold from Obuasi over 100 years. Go and see Obuasi. Last week I was in Takwa. I mean, I have heard this new government, this guy is not new, he's been there before, he's come back trying to tell Ghanaians that this time we will not export our raw materials. We should support them. We should change our mind. I'm speaking to our educational system. We should teach people how to make something out of nothing. We are still calling for people to come and take our lithium. They've taken our timber, they've taken our gold, they've taken our cocoa, yeah, they've taken our diamond. Come and take our lithium, make the batteries for us. Solar now is coming to be something. Come and take our lithium and make solar panels for us. What kind of people we are?
Now let's do some fact-checking as we place the spotlight on claims made by CEO of GoldBod, Sammy Gyamfi, in a statement released yesterday to clarify the profitability position of the GoldBod after an IMF assessment had indicated that trading losses and off-takers fees from the GoldBod had plunged the central bank's gold for reserves program into a $214 million debt. Now, head of research here at JoyNews, Isaac Kofieje, joins us on the phone with details. Isaac, thanks for joining us. But what are the facts? First, walk us through the exact claim. Kofi, can you unmute? Yeah, I can hear you now.
Well, you remember yesterday the CEO of GoldBod put out a media release that had about 10 pointers. And point 7 is our focus. Point 7 has a claim, and it's a two-sided claim. The claim was that if you look at the GoldBod, it had actually helped government to increase its international reserve from $9 billion in 2016 to about $12 billion in 2025. So the claim was that the GoldBod had helped government to increase, reserve from $9 billion in 2016 to about $12 billion in 2025. That was a claim.
Right. And what is the verdict?
Well, so we will do the verdict this way. We take it in 10. So we start with the first aspect of the claim, which is the $12 billion international reserve in 2025. Although we do not have the end of year, data for 2025, the IMF or the Bank of Ghana summary of economic data for November 2025 shows that as of the 10th month of the year, international reserves for the country, gross reserve for the country stood around, more than $11 billion. And if you look at the growth path for this year, there's high likelihood that possibly we could end the year with a total reserve of about $12 billion, as quoted by the CEO of the GoldBod. But one aspect of the claim, which we found a bit, a bit of a challenge with it, is the fact that 2016's international reserves stood around, $9 billion. After our checks using official data from the Bank of Ghana's own 2016 report, end of year report, as well as the 2017 July summary data, what we found out was that the claim that $9 billion was the international reserve for the country is actually completely false. If you look at the data or the figure quoted by the Bank of Ghana, which is a custodian of our reserve, as of the end of 2016, Ghana's gross international reserve stood around approximately $4.9 billion and not the $9 billion quoted by yesterday by Sammy Gyamfi in his 10-pointer media release that he put out yesterday. That figure he put out was $4.1 billion more than the actual gross international reserve quoted by the central bank in its official reports, and as well as the summary data that we've tracked so far.
Practically speaking, for the normal Ghanaian, how will this IMF report about the GoldBod impact us, and should we be worried?
Well, at the moment, GoldBod has spoken. GoldBod has been reacting to that IMF report, and we have been very categorical that we didn't put out any media report, or for us here at JoyNews, what we reported was that there is an element called Gold for Reserve program under the domestic gold purchase program being run by the Bank of Ghana. And according to the IMF, this aspect of the domestic gold purchase program is raking in, or is actually accumulating a loss of $240 million. It quoted two main reasons why we are seeing $240 million loss. The first one has to do with trading losses, and the second one has to do with GoldBod off-taker fees. What we have checked so far shows that currently the GoldBod is likely to make profit at the end of the year. And this is simply because the Bank of Ghana is acting as a shock absorber, taking all the risks attached to this Gold for Reserve program, and then also the Gold for Oil program, because the GoldBod program, because we know that currently GoldBod is buying gold at premium, and the Bank of Ghana is selling it at a discounted rate in other markets, and that is what is causing these losses. GoldBod has issued a statement, and the statement shows that by next year or subsequently, they will be taking charge of these purchases. They will have their revolving fund, and they'll go to the market to buy the gold by themselves. And maybe we are not likely to see the Bank of Ghana taking the losses. But the question we are asking is, what will be the impact if GoldBod begins to operate independently without that big brother protection from the Bank of Ghana? That's the question we're asking. But the big effect possibly is that, according to the IMF, this could hurt the financial sustainability of our central bank if this should continue, especially after the introduction of the GoldBod.
Thank you so much, Isaac Kofiejay, for that update. Well, Isaac Kofiejay is the lead data analyst here at JoyNews. Let's move ahead and do some other stories. And bad roads have made life difficult for traders and residents in Old Trafford for years. Mud during the rains and dust in the dry season have affected health, business and movement. But that struggle may soon end as a new road project begins in the municipality. The Old Trafford Municipal Assembly has cut sword for the construction of 2 kilometers of roads in key areas, including Moro Market, Assemblies of God Church Road, Ahenbronum, Buankene, Electoral Area, and Benkumhini Road.
Is expected to improve movement, reduce dust, and make trading easier, especially at the Moro Market, where food items like yam are sold. For traders, the road has been a major challenge for many years. Sarah Jebi is one of the traders.
na ebi nko na ni nyina na yete ha mfuturo koyemu ntimada wo masese ya mabai mu meka na ya hawo no mu meye ne ya hawo no eso ente.
Another trader says the poor road condition has made business very difficult.
Na ya kwan no mu meye maye na ja ya mfuturo no ekuye enisa mo baye ntimra na mo meye maye tentem ekwa yi na nsuota nam say yi ayi ni hente no enso ne to ana bogu nkrofo so enti mu ba ye na mo ye gata ne ma ye ne a ebeboa yen.
Speaking at the sword cutting ceremony, the municipal chief executive Old Tafo Abubakar Sadiq says the project is part of government efforts to improve roads and support economic activities.
As part of government efforts to increase accessibility to motorists and commuters within the inner roads of the Old Tafo municipal, today we are here to cast salt for the rehabilitation of the Moro Market, Assemblies of God Church, Wawini electoral area, and the Banka electoral area, that's Bekumhini Road precisely. And this month, the government promised to ensure that we increase accessibility. And as we all know, as part of the big push, the Ministry of Roads and Highways has earmarked 10 kilometers for the Old Tafo Municipal Assembly to ensure that we enhance accessibility within the various roads within the municipality. Today, the contract has been awarded to Mr. Jabora Construction Company Limited, and he has a duration of 6 months to complete the selected roads within the municipality. And we thank the consultant, that's Avantgarde, for also the designs and drawings for the road that is to be constructed.
Residents and traders say the project brings hope and relief and are appealing for the work to be completed on time.
Samu baba yama yedia yempese mu bejai eguho yempese mu yedia na mu gina kwan no so na mu ye yeso mu ba ye be ba kwan no amoma ye
timadaruma sisi ye amaba ya musimu be ye tamochi pa.
A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
Now, Deputy Director of the Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Organizational Development, CIQD, Dr. Daniel Banuoko, has warned that the continuous red alert advisories issued on the Upper West region by some diplomatic missions are undermining development efforts in the area. Now, he revealed that several donor-funded projects worth millions of dollars have stalled as a result of the alert, which are largely linked to insecurity and instability in the wider Sahel region. Dr. Banuoko is therefore calling on the Speaker of Parliament and the Northern Parliamentary Caucus to engage diplomatic missions to reconsider the advisories and assess the actual security situation in the region. Now, he made the call during the signing of a memorandum of understanding between CIQD and the Dr. Hela Liman Technical University. Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Deputy Director of the Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Organizational Development, CIQD, Daniel Banuoko, speaking shortly before his outfit signed a memorandum of understanding with the Dr. Hela Liman Technical University aimed at promoting agroecology learning at high institutions, expressed worry over the red alert notice that has been placed on the Upper West Zone as a result of the crisis in the Sahel. The red alert notice, which is placed on the region by some diplomatic missions, according to Daniel Banuoko, is holding back the development of the region, stating that grants that have been secured for projects are unable to be implemented because of the red alert notice on the region.
So you go for grants, you win the grants, but the partners cannot work within this area. They cannot travel in because our diplomatic missions have put the entire zone on red zone. So we had student learners from Canada, they cannot come here and stay because it's on red zone. We've got the project from the Wageningen through the Wageningen University to implement it here. It couldn't happen because partners would not be able to travel here. It's been there for over 4 years now and it's still there and people are not aware. So you see, you get a project and the partners say, oh, as for Upper West, we cannot come. There are student interns who are supposed to come here from Canada. Last year, they couldn't come because this area is supposed to be unsafe. Meanwhile, we are walking freely around and enjoying ourselves.
He called on the Speaker of Parliament, Albanso Manakinsburg Babuin, and Parliamentary Caucus from the northern belt of the country to intercede on behalf of the region.
So it's affecting the development of the region very severely, and we're calling on the Speaker of Parliament in particular, who is from this region, and our parliamentarians from the northern sector to look into this for us, or else we can do everything we want to do, get the grant, but it will not be implemented because partners may not be able to come around here.
To bring you business. Stay with us.
On the
You're welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. I am Michelle Ajakum. Let's do some business. Now, the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Jinapor, says more work must be done to expand and strengthen the national power grid to meet rising electricity demand. This follows concerns raised by the Ghana Grid Company, Gridco, over increasing power consumption across the country, which is putting pressure on existing transmission infrastructure. Speaking to the media after a health walk organized by the ministry, Mr. Jinapor noted that while government continues to improve power generation, equal attention must be given to transmission and distribution to ensure stable and reliable power supply.
Yesterday, I got a message from Gridco that our peak demand has reached an all-time high. That's about 4,300 megawatts. So we are seeing a very huge increase in terms of energy consumption. And that also presents a challenge. It means that we have to work very hard to sustain the lights and keep the lights on. And so in the coming months, we'll have to double our efforts and work very, very hard to ensure that we have stable supply of power. But also in the petroleum sector, we need to double up and increase production because that ultimately affects the living conditions of people as well as the downstream. But more importantly, roll out a lot of renewable energy to reduce the burden. And so I want to call on you, the lawyers in particular. You would always review all our contracts, ensure that the negotiations go very, very well. And so I want to encourage you to give off your best and to work very hard.
Away from that, founder of Web3 Africa Group, Dell Titus Bewa, has emphasized that the passage of Ghana's Virtual Asset Service Providers Law is critical to strengthening the country's economy. Speaking to Joy Business at the VASP Ecosystem Mixer Dialogue, Mr. Bewa said the law will provide a clear regulatory framework for digital assets, boost investor confidence, and position Ghana as a leading hub for the blockchain and virtual assets innovation in Africa.
Speaking to Joy Business, Dell Titus Bewa said the absence of clear regulations has slowed the growth of the digital asset space, despite the sector's potential to create jobs, attract foreign investors, and expand financial inclusion.
I personally have, I've said that this is going to be a pivotal moment in Africa's prosperity. So it's not just about Ghana, it's about the whole entire continent. I see in the next, decade, I don't see why Africa cannot add an additional $1 trillion in GDP based on this industry alone, not just in Ghana, the whole entire continent. That is what I see. Not just economic prosperity, but talents. The talents we're going to develop, the key skills we're going to develop, the workforce, right? 70% of Africa's population is all youth. And so this industry is prime, very, very prime for that.
Meanwhile, the lead for virtual asset regulation at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Sarah Mpelkuma, has been explaining the details of the proposed law.
We have a passed bill awaiting presidential assent. Okay, so until the president signs, it can't be a public document. So we hope that before the end of this year, the president will sign so that we can all have access to the act. The act is the primary document with high rules to guide the sector, to guide the VAP sector. It is not the only document we are going to use. So apart from the act, we need to operationalize the act with using other instruments such as guidelines and directives. So in that document, the second document, that is where you have the detailed licensing and registration requirements. Now, if you have an act, it takes some time before regulation starts.
The VAPS ecosystem mixer also served as a platform for dialogue between regulators and industry players, highlighting the government's commitment to building a secure and inclusive digital economy.
Be all for business. I am Michelle Jacoum. The small business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. World News is up next.
And in world news, at least 5 people were killed and 35 others injured when a suspected suicide bomber detonated an explosive inside a mosque in Maiduguri, in the capital of Nigeria's Borno State. The blast at Al Adum Mosque took place at about 6 p.m. during evening prayers, police says, and eyewitnesses described scenes of panic as victims were rushed to the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital and the State Specialist Hospital. Now, no group has claimed responsibility for Wednesday's attack, which comes amid heightened security concerns in Nigeria's northeast. Islamist insurgent Boko Haram and its Islamic State-aligned faction have waged a 15-year campaign of violence targeting civilians, mosques, and markets in the region. Borno State Governor Babagana, Zulum, condemned the attack, calling it barbaric and inhumane. Now, he urged heightened vigilance in places of worship and public spaces during the holiday season. And as Central African Republic gets ready for Sunday's general election, the country's electoral authority, backed by the MINUSCA, peacekeeping force, is training more than 1,000 polling workers in the commune of Bimbo. Now, the aim is to protect the transparency and integrity of the vote. And the president of the National Electoral Authority branch in Bimbo says, quote, "We are currently training people, and then we will identify a polling station president, first assessor, second assessor, third assessor, and fourth assessor. Their role is to guide voters and ensure that the vote runs smoothly," end of quote. Now, in a statement released on Wednesday, United Nations Secretary General Antonio also called on all stakeholders to, quote, "refrain from any action that could incite violence or undermine the credibility of the process," end of quote. That's it for World News. Showbiz is up next.
Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to the Showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline Asuma, your boy to our first story for today. The Accra Sports Stadium came alive as thousands of music lovers gathered to witness Stonebwoy mark 10 years of musical dominance with the BIM Festival, a high-energy celebration of resilience, passion, and hit-making excellence. The BIM Festival was marked thrilling performances from Mr. P, Fantan Moja, Kwabna, and many others. There's more in the following report.
Stage checked, lights checked, band checked, energy checked. Welcome to the much anticipated BIM Festival, a decade of dominance. Some call him Wangad, others call him Delegba. For some, the torture. But for the thousands of music lovers gathered here at the Accra Sports Stadium, he is the president of BIM Nation. Clad in a white suit beneath a hanging crown, crowned with golden bull horns, Stone Boy rose above the chairs with the popular record, Send Them a Prayer. See them ask me, how me do me tin, positivity and my heart is clean, my personal favorite. This entrance has been described by many as a statement of dominance.
Well, we have more of that story in subsequent bulletins. And music, energy, and celebration fill the shores of Accra on Christmas Eve as reggae and dancehall icon Sammy staged the 2025 edition of the Sammy Experience concert at the La Boma Beach Hotel. The annual show drew hundreds of music lovers, brought together artists from different generations, delivering electrifying performances. My colleague Lois Shola Adiemi has more in the following report.
Boma Beach came alive on Christmas Eve as fans arrived in their numbers for the 2025 Samini Experience concert. The annual show once again cemented its place as a dirty December highlight, drawing music lovers to the beachfront for a night of live performances. Artists mounted the stage one after the other, delivering high-energy performances that kept the crowd fully charged throughout the night. Artists, after their performances, described Samini as one of the key figures who paved the way for Afro dancehall in Ghana.
I believe he's our fine wine because whatever that we are doing now, he saw it like 25 years ago.
He's been consistent and he's been around and been decent as well.
Because
one of our biggest legends stage, you know, is a blessing to be called amongst the many.
Patrons at the event shared the excitement, praising Samini for his consistency and describing the concert as a perfect way to spend Christmas Eve.
Well, before we leave, I want you to imagine a sun-kissed Boxing Day at the lush Ebri Botanical Gardens, laughter all around, music in the air, and families creating memories that last well beyond the day. That's the experience waiting for you at the Joy FM Family Party in the Park, which is tomorrow. This ultimate family hangout promises a full day of fun, bonding, and pure relaxation, from classic board games like Scrabble, Ludo, and Owari, to bouncing castles, face painting, water races, and family football matches. There's something for everyone. Well, tomorrow I'm going to be there, and I know my colleague Noella would also be there. It's going to be my first Christmas concert or event. Yeah. Oh, really? Definitely. Yeah, I haven't really been anywhere. Well, you're going to see Noella tomorrow. You should be there.
I'm definitely looking forward to being there tomorrow.
All right. Well,
yeah. Well, that's it. That's how we wrap up Joy News today on the Joy News channel. But you have more news on myjoyonline.com. Until then, enjoy the rest of our Christmas programming and have a good afternoon.